Hi everyone, I'm really excited to share with you some of the things that have been going on around my shop. The home next door has been under construction, so they did a huge demolition the other day. I was able to save a little bit from the demolition, but not nearly enough as what I wanted before they started dumping toxic kind of ceiling insulation into the dumpster and then hauled it off. So I was able to collect a good amount. You'll see some here. This is first growth Douglas fir, most likely, and it's just amazing wood. Um, I take it out of the dumpster. It's got nails all over it, and I clean it up. These are some clean pieces here. I pull nails, I dust them off, and get ready to cut them. You can see here how I pull nails. So I have a nice perfect height table for me. It's got some holes in it where I can stick nail heads that are sticking out through or pound them through. It's just something that I've kind of innovated over the years to help me to speed up the process. On Monday I started block production, and I made about 32 blocks in about 3 hours. I had already cut them out and I was just sanding them and shaping them. Some of them didn't make the cut. These three here have a little bit of rot on them. A lot of the time I spent was just being creative and kind of getting lost in the sculptural element of this with the sander. You can see sometimes I've run across a corner that's just too raggedy or whatever, and I just sand it way down. These are all blocks that have made the cut. Some of them still have a few nail holes in them, but nothing I think is too dangerous. That shelf unit, by the way, is also made from wood that I pulled off the street over by my bank one day. These blocks here, or you can see again how I have kind of taken to the sculptural element of things and just run with maybe one of six will have a bad edge, and I'll start sanding it down, and then I'll just repeat that for the rest of the six. This one here is a beautiful knot in it. I'm not sure I would send that out to a kid, a young kid anyway, but it's beautiful. This one has just a single nail hole. I wouldn't mind giving that to my son or somebody his age. Here's one that's completely clean, beautiful piece of wood. Again, I'm just repeating that kind of rounded over shape on one end. This is an example of just a standard block. It's just a rectangle. Normally I'll make, maybe 9 or 10 in a row that are the same length. This is a square. I'll just square it to the piece of wood I have and make as many as I can. So not all the squares are the same size, but they'll have a series. This piece here is, it was a square. One of the edges was kind of too raggedy or something, so I just rounded it way down. This is an example of kind of a triangular series or an angled series. I'll just have 5 in a row that I'll just play with different angles, and I'll kind of keep those together as a bunch. This is a piece of cut off from a frame that I made. It's actually a piece of my grandmother's table. I'm not sure what kind of wood that is, but it's a beautiful old wood. My son looked at this block and said choo-choo train. Just another example of one of the angular series of blocks. This is something I have to take really seriously as I move from hobby to production. And as you can see, my old machine here, this is my old primary machine, and I still use it, but in this setup it was really dangerous. I couldn't dust collect at all. There's no lower or upper saw guard. I've since learned a few new tricks to be a little safer with it, but all in all it's not suitable for production. This is how I used to cut part of the groove for the glass on my frames. Stupid stuff. Should not be doing that full time. This is a little safer, and this is what I've learned lately, is to use push blocks, which is a very basic thing, and I can't believe I haven't done this until now. But now I don't have to use this tool for my sawing purposes at all. Recently I made a purchase on Craigslist. Craigslist is amazing. Where isn't Craigslist these days? I got about $4,500 worth of machinery for $800, and this is a newer model of the Shopsmith. You can see here, this is the lower saw guard. And this one here is the upper saw guard as you're doing sawing function on it, and it will become my primary machine. So right there I'm already ahead of the curve. Here's a better look at the lower saw guard. I can dust collect with that. This thing moves up and down to accommodate the table, which moves up and down to adjust blade height. This machine really is just a beautiful piece of American engineering, and I like to take pride in the fact that it is made in Ohio and designed in Ohio, and it's just such a precision machine. It's fun to work with too. Just using it kind of begs creativity. The tool is called the Mark V because it's a multi-tool, so it becomes stock out of the box. It's 5 different tools, and really it's a whole lot more than that with different add-ons and stuff like that. So it's perfect for the size garage I have and size shop I have. And you can see here just how much more space I have to work with, which translates to a lot more safety and stability in the materials that I'm trying to cut. This next tool is called the jointer, and it was part of what I got off of Craigslist. It's super safe. It had those red things are feather boards, and they hold the wood down to minimize any kind of kickback reaction from this tool. And this tool is really important in itself for creating wood that's safe to cut. It has one purpose, and it shaves a nice clean flat edge on a piece of wood, and you can use it to square a piece of wood like this one here. And squaring a piece of wood is really important because it allows you to put it through a saw or anything else that you're going to do with it down the line safely. This setup also saves me a lot of time because I can keep the saw and the jointer set up at the same time, and I have my other old Shopsmith set up as a drill press, and then the other attachment you see there is a bandsaw, which is useful for cutting big lumber down to smaller bits efficiently. And this machine will be kept set up like this, so I actually have now a full shop of tools on 2 machines. It's a beautiful thing. I would love to get these into my classroom once I'm in a school. I always imagine that kids would just have a ball with one of these things, and they really are interactive and promote creativity, and they're just exciting tools to work with. Another safety requirement is dust collection. This machine I also got off of Craigslist. Thank you, Craigslist. And this hood here on top filters particles down to 1 micron, so it gets the very small dust, which is incredibly dangerous to the lungs. Since I'm at home, it keeps it out of our house too. Here I can actually dust collect off of my saw and sanders and everything at this point, so I'm really happy with that. What I've shown you here is what I decided was the bare minimum I needed in order to fulfill the Kickstarter project. If I reach my funding goal, the money will go towards recovering some of these costs, as well as bringing it to the next level and ordering some miscellaneous materials like abrasives and saw blades. In a future update, I'll do a better rundown of how I plan to use the funding money. In the next update, I'd like to share with you some moments from a talk I attended at Stanford. Thank you, Terry, for the heads up. It was a really interesting talk led by a guy from Pixar, the guy that started Make Magazine, and it was an interesting conversation about making things and its role in education.